Hey, what is going on, guys? DK. Back at you with another video here to bring the 7-game NBA main slate on Friday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL slates on Draftkings. If you're unable to watch these videos, I also upload on Apple Podcasts. Link down below. It's called the DKDFS show. If you're interested in signing up for premium content, I offer a few different packages on patreon.com, NBA, NFL, and esports package. And I want to thank the sponsor, Prize Picks, of this video. So I was checking the NBA props, making this video while the Golden State game is still going on, so I don't see the props up yet. But basically how it works is you can either take over-under on fantasy points or over-under on straight-up points, assists, rebounds, three-pointers made. You can also mix and match sports. So yeah, player prop site. If you guys want to try it out and sign up, use my code DKDFS. That is DKDFS, all one word. You'll get 100% match up to $100. So if you deposit using my code $100, you will get a free $100 to play with on the site. And finally, I want to thank you guys for your continued support in this channel. I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys. If you do enjoy all this content, if you could, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Okay, so before we talk about players and the prices for the 7-gamer, we can look back at my lineup here from tonight. So tonight's going to be close, and that's thanks to Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic. Didn't think I would have to be tilting him busting for me, but I did, because the first half he had like 5 fantasy points, or whatever it was. So, yay! I was talking about it all night on the videos as well as the live streams of the John Morant, Steph Curry pairing in GBPs. John Morant, Steph Curry. And I just didn't do it. I'm kind of kicking myself for it. Luka was obviously the optimal play, right? Luka was still more optimal than Steph Curry. But yeah, I should have won Steph for my GBP lineup. And that's something I'm kicking myself for. But it is what it is. I'm going to be close with, again, we'll see if again, the tournaments of John Morant can bring me there. But yeah, 43 fantasy points for low-owned Ja. Looking pretty good. Against Steph, obviously having an amazing game. Just can't get over Luka. Oh, and is Jason Kidd serious? Are you serious starting Reggie Bullock? So he moves Reggie Bullock in the starting lineup. We all think it's Kleba. I'm like, it's the most obvious thing is start Maxi Kleba. Nah, Reggie Bullock. Dust off Reggie Bullock and throw him in the starting lineup. So Maxi Kleba, obviously not that great of a point per minute guy. I'm looking at him in my lineup. I'm like, all right. So I think instead of the 30 minutes I was expecting from him, he goes back down to maybe 20 like he's played off the bench the previous 3 games. So I pivot off Maxi Kleba. I'm sure you guys saw what he did tonight. A 50 bomb. Almost 50 fantasy points for Maxi Kleba. And to top it all off, I know some of you watch my NFL content. James Conner. All right, that's it for the look back, guys. Oh, really quick, let's go over ownership in the Thunderdome. So, again, $5,300 entry. Luka Doncic, to no one's surprise, basically 90% owned. Everyone but one player played Luka. So, if you played Luka Doncic and you're regretting it, you're like, oh, I shouldn't have played Luka Doncic. Again, he was the clear optimal spend up on this slate. Don't beat yourself up about it. Sometimes good players in great spots bust. It happens, right? Some other ownership, Montrez 100%, no surprise. If I was building 150 lineups, I would have played 150 Montrez Harrell. Brad Beal 50% owned. I totally got that with no Dinwiddie. That made sense. Dwight Powell 50% owned. Let's see, what else was there? Aaron Holiday 75%. I was a little bit surprised he was that chalky in the super high stakes because I wasn't convinced he was going to get big minutes. I was thinking low to mid 20s, so that did surprise me a little bit. But yeah, this was the winning lineup. The winning lineup faded. Faded Luka and went Steph Curry. Again, Steph Curry having a really big game. John Morant carrying me almost 50 fantasy points. We'll see if he can get me to the cash. But yeah, the winning lineup in the Thunderdome, the John Morant Steph Curry pairing. So. Kicking myself for sure for not doing it, but it is what it is. And did they just take away what's going on here? All right, whatever. All right, let's talk about this slate. So let me refresh Bovada. Okay, so Magic and Raptors are 210 over under. The Raptors are 8-point favorites. Kings and Pelicans are 219.5 over under. The Kings are 2-point favorites. Clippers and Blazers are 223.5 over under. The Blazers 2.5-point favorites, and that's what we got right now. So we'll start off with the Magic. Again, the Magic basically anytime they touch the basketball court, they have a chance of getting blown out. But they give their starters big minutes last game. Mo Bamba, 6.6K, good point per guy that can block some shots. Played 32 minutes. I'm fine with him for GPPs. Rondo Carter Jr., now playing around 30 to 32 minutes a game. He's another good point per minute guy. A guy that's going to get you close to the double-digit rebounds. I think he's a pretty safe option. Cole Anthony has been their best player so far this season. And he's playing pretty big minutes as well. 30, 32, 35, 32, 35. And he's really stuffing the stat sheet. So at 6.5K, I'm actually okay with it. Though, the way this offense is running, Cole Anthony is running the show. So I'm fine paying up for that in the mid-range. And then Jalen Suggs at 5.1K. Minutes have been a little bit more up and down on him, but he's viable for tournaments. He is taking a little bit of a backseat to Cole Anthony this year. And then I'll mention Franz Wagner too. Low usage guy, but he's also playing like 30-ish minutes. So like the main guys for the Magic, as long as the game stays somewhat competitive, should play big minutes. So I have interest in all five, the starting five, but mainly the bigs and Cole Anthony. Moving on to the Raptors. So Fred VanVleet, a couple big games, back-to-back games. Again, this game stays competitive. You can see another big one. He's just playing huge minutes. Going to play close to 40 minutes. Does have that triple-double upside, a decent rebounding guard, he's good at assists, obviously, because he's handling the ball in his hands a ton. So I have no issue with Fred VanVleet. No Giannubi. He's really taken a leap forward offensively this year. He's kind of being that number 2 on offense behind Fred VanVleet. 38, 34 minutes. He's playing big minutes. Again, those shot attempts too. 17, 17, 15, 17, 21 shot attempts. The prices are coming up, but I'm fine actually going to OG Anunoby. The only thing I'll say is at times the peripheral stats, right, can be not that great. But, yeah, I'm okay paying that price point. If Scotty Barnes stays out of foul trouble, he has upside too. Now, he has the last couple games, but, I'm just saying, be careful. Be careful. This guy's in foul trouble a lot. That's all I'm going to say. Achua, 5.3K. Again, for the first 9 minutes last game, he had 0.0 rebounds, 0 assists. How is that possible? How? Still finished the game with a decent outing, 21.5 fancy points. If he doesn't start the game with no stats through 9 minutes, he probably has a much better game. So I think we're going to get 28 to 30 minutes on Achua. At 5.3K, I think he makes for a pretty safe play as long as he can stay out of foul trouble. And I'll mention Gary Trent. I really do hate playing this guy, but 36, 36, 35 minutes. He's going to get shot attempts up. He does still have a low floor, but he can't hit shots. But big minutes plus the shot attempts, I'm okay going there. All right, Pacers. The big news, no Brogdon. Also, we had to monitor Caris LeVert is questionable. Now, even if he plays, he's going to play limited minutes. So we'll start with Domantas Sabonis. No Brogdon. Good matchup against the Nets who play very little defense. Price is down. I think he looks like a really good play. Again, shot four times last game. I'm tilting for you if you played Sabonis. How is that even possible? He played 34 minutes and shot 4 times. Like, what? So, yeah, I do like Sabonis to get him out there at the top. And now, as I've kind of hinted, I'm like, when Brogdon misses games, this is where I'm going to Chris Duarte. Now we have 5.5K Chris Duarte that will be running the point a decent amount. They probably start McConnell, but they started McConnell in the preseason, and Duarte still handled the ball a ton and had a good amount of assists. So I'm expecting a lot more playmaking here from Chris Duarte at 5.5K, so I do like him a good amount. Again, I'm assuming TJ McConnell starts. If he does start, he's a fair play too, a guy that can stuff the stat sheet. So I like both guards here for the Pacers. I'm not going to play LeVert even if he does play, but if LeVert does play, then that makes McConnell and Duarte a little bit riskier. We'll see what they do with the starting lineup. Other than that, like Miles Turner at 5.4, the minutes have been too inconsistent for me to go there. Like Holiday and Lamb, sure, they're fine salary relief plays if LeVert can't go because they should get more minutes without Brogdon. And again, they run a tight rotation. Let's move on to the Nets. So James Harden continues to struggle. It is a really good matchup, but man, it's kind of hard to go to him right now. Even in a good spot. I mean, I do have some interest in him, but it's hard to feel confident. And then Kevin Durant's going to be the much safer option here. I got a great matchup. The Pacers play very little defense. I like both stars for the Nets, but I think KD is just a much safer play at this point in time. Keep an eye on Nick Claxton news. He's currently questionable. If he misses, could open up some value. Maybe a guy like Aldridge in tournaments becomes in play. I'll mention Bruce Brown because he started last couple games, 30 and 35 minutes. If he continues to start, I think he's a fair value play. Not a super high usage guy, but sub 4K that probably plays around 30 minutes in a good matchup. I'm fine with that. And then Patty Mills, playing around 25-ish minutes, 25 to 30 minutes, I think viable in large field tournaments. All right, Charlotte and Miami. So LaMelo Ball's minutes. I mean, just what are we doing here? what are we doing? He didn't close last game. Sure, he's having a bad game. You close with your best player. Like, what are you doing? I don't care if he's having a bad game. You close with LaMelo Ball. So that's just the thing. And now it's a tough matchup too, so it's hard for me to go there. Miles Bridges is going to win the MVP, I guess, this year. He continues to be the best player to ever play the game. Obviously, a little bit of sarcasm there, but hey, you can't deny what he's doing. The price hasn't moved, but going up against Miami, I'm probably not going to go there. But he's probably going to continue to go for 40-plus fantasy points, like every single game he has so far. Plumlee at 6'4" will probably play low 30s minutes. He's a good point per minute guy, but I don't really want to play him against Bam Adebayo. Rozier, questionable. PJ Washington, questionable. Or PJ Washington, doubtful. So monitor that. They're both out. Then that's probably more minutes for a guy like Kelly Oubre, but I'm probably not going to go there at 5'9". Moving on to Miami. Good matchup here, but the price points don't make a ton of sense. 8.7K for Jimmy. I know he had a really good game last game, but I think there's better spend ups in the slate. Bam, Lowry, both probable. Both expect them to go. I think Bam looks interesting here in a matchup against Mason Plumlee. Should be able to have his way there. Hero off the bench, 6.6K, continues to play well. I'm fine going there for tournaments. He's going to get, probably around 30 minutes and a good amount of shot attempts up. But yeah, just a GBP play at that price point. And that's really it for Miami. Moving on to Sacramento, New Orleans. So this should be a fun one. This should be a high-scoring game. We'll start with De'Aaron Fox. It was back-to-back really let-down games. Price at 8.4K looks pretty decent in a matchup like this. There should be very low defense played in this one. He's going to play 35-ish minutes. The guy can stuff the stat sheet. So I do kind of like De'Aaron Fox here at that price. Harrison Barnes continues to also just be the best player in the world. It's a game-winning 3. Just give Harrison Barnes and Miles Bridges the MVP right now. I just don't understand. This happened last year too. I'm just going to continue to bring that up. This happened last year with Harrison Barnes, 5 or 6 straight games where he continued to smash. I finally bought in, and he busted. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm considering it. I'm considering it, which means you guys should fade. But look at these minutes. 37, 38, 36, 39 minutes for Harrison Barnes. He's rebounding the ball really well. He's getting a ton of shot attempts up. It's a good matchup. Unfortunately, I am considering Harrison Barnes. Now, the rest of this team, Hield and Halliburton are secondary plays. I do like Richaun Holmes, a big front court. Like they're going to need him to play around 30 minutes, but he is prone to foul trouble, and he's going to be going up against Jonas Valanciunas. So there is some foul trouble risk. I will say this. If I knew Richaun Holmes stayed out of foul trouble and played 32 minutes tomorrow, I would play him. But, again, decent chance he gets in some foul trouble. So that's the risk with Holmes. But if he stays out of foul trouble, I think he's a really solid play. I'll mention Devon Mitchell, 4.1K. Did only play 19 minutes last game, but previous games he was playing 30-plus minutes. I'm probably not going to go there, but the minutes have been decent for him this year. Moving on to the Pelicans. So price points up on a couple guys. Again, though, they are playing massive, massive minutes. These top 4 guys for the Pelicans are playing massive minutes, and they're literally doing it all. Everyone else that's getting minutes is super low usage. So B.I., Brandon Ingram, JV, NAW, Graham. I like all 4 in an up-tempo game here. Brandon Ingram, 8.7K. Matchup, or the price might scare some people off. I'm fine paying this for him. I think he's a decent contrarian GPP play. I think the price is going to scare some people off Jonas Valanciunas. I think that is a mistake. If he continues to play close to 40 minutes a game, JV should be close to 10K. He's that good of a point-per-minute guy, and we're finally seeing him get minutes. I'm not scared of Richaun Holmes in the defensive end, so as long as there's no foul trouble for Jonas Valanciunas, I think he's a really good GPP play too. NAW struggles with a shot recently, 6 of 24, 6 of 16, 3 of 14. The thing is, he's not afraid to shoot it, so again, fine tournament play, but he's been struggling recently. I think it's really hard for me to say this. It pains me to say this, but I think I do slightly prefer Devontae Graham to NAW, playing better of late, and playing also big minutes. And that's really it. Josh Hart is questionable. Keep an eye on that. If he plays, then Herbert Jones is going to move to the bench, who's really been starting and only being played for defense, really. So low usage guy. But yeah, let's move on to Dallas and Denver. So I'll say this. For DFS, I know it's super tilting, but you can't be that guy that says, never again with Luka Doncic. I'm never going to play him again. Or, he's the last guy I'm going to put in at the Stars. I'm never trusting Luka again. Yeah, he burned me and everyone tonight. I could care less. I'm fine going right back to the well with Luka Doncic. Ownership's going to be really, really low, right? You have to have short-term memory in DFS. You cannot think like that. You cannot think never again with this guy because he's burned me a few times. Trust me, I've had guys burn me all the time. That doesn't mean I'm going to get off them the next slate. So, yeah, Luka Doncic, ownership is going to be super low on him after the absolutely massive floor game from him. But most likely no Porzingis. So I think Luka's a pretty solid contrarian spot. The reason I say contrarian is people are not going to want to go back there after last game. So if I feel like the ownership's going to be that low on Luka, I might play him tomorrow. Porzingis, don't expect him to play. Brunson's played really well for this team. I think he's going to play 25 to 30 minutes. I like him for value. He's the ball handler when Luka's not out there. He's stuffing the stat sheet. I think he's a really solid play. I'm not playing 7K scoring dependent Tim Hardaway Jr. Dorian Finney-Smith's secondary option. Dwight Powell's fine. We'll see about Jokic. If Jokic plays, he might have to play more. So if Jokic is out there, they could technically go a little bit smaller. But yeah, he's fine value. And then again, Maxi Kleber, I pivot off him. He has the game of his life going for like a 50 bomb. Still, that's really, I'm probably not going to sleep tonight because of that. But yeah, I think Maxi Kleber is really solid value, assuming we're going to get similar minutes of tonight. All right, let's move on to Denver. So the big news here is Jokic. Jokic, massive. I would guess he sits this game, but we'll have to see. So if Nikola Jokic plays, I like Jokic a good amount. If Jokic misses, that is a ton of usage to go around, plus minutes in the front court. So we'll start with MPJ, Will Barton, Aaron Gordon. If there's no Nikola Jokic, I really like all three. I mean, these, especially MPJ and Barton, they're going to be the top guys in offense. MPJ's really struggled with a shot recently. Don't care. He's going to play close to 40 minutes if there's no Jokic. He looks really good. Barton, going to be one of the top options in offense. The guy that can stuff the stat sheet. Really like him. And then Aaron Gordon's going to get a boost, right? When Jokic is out there, he's kind of just more at the first defense. But we saw what he could do with Orlando with a bad team, right? He's still a solid offensive player. So those top three guys I think look really solid. I'm fine going to Monte Morris, who had a decent game. He played 35 minutes last game. I think he's an interesting value play. And then, we'll see what they do with the starting lineup. My guess is JaMychal Green starts at 3.1K. If JaMychal Green does in fact start, I think he plays at least 25 minutes. And even at 3.1K, I think he'd be a good value play. Jeff Green might get a couple more minutes. Do they possibly move a guy like Zeke Naji or Bull into this rotation? I think it's possible. I think Bones Highland might get some minutes here too, but again, those are all large field tournament plays. So monitor the starting lineup. Again, I like the main guys for Denver, and if Jokic is out, whoever starts the 5, my guess, JaMychal Green. All right, Clippers and the Blazers. Can we just talk about what on earth happened last game to the Clippers? Get absolutely blown out by the Cleveland Cavaliers. I have no idea, but Paul George shot awful. Again, if you played Paul George last night, you got insanely unlucky. You can't be, oh my God, since Paul George let me down last game, I'm not playing him again. I'm never playing Paul George again. No, who cares, right? It's a great matchup here for Paul George. You see what he's doing last game against Portland? Yeah, it was a massive blow-up. He was on pace for a big, big game. So I'm fine going right back to Paul George. I think he's an interesting GPP play. The two guards in Reggie and Bledsoe, I think are pretty solid options in an up-tempo game. They're going to have one in the court at all times. I think both play over 30 minutes in this game if it stays close. So I kind of like both Clippers guards here in Reggie and Bledsoe. They're just not going to play They're just not going to play Zubac more than like 25 minutes. That was a big, big front court against Cleveland, and they still didn't close with him. I was really surprised about that. They had Jarrett Allen and Mobley out there, and they had Batum as their 5. So that did surprise me. It makes sense for the postseason, but in the regular season, I really thought they would close with Zubac. They didn't against a big front court. So right now, you can't expect more than 25 minutes from him. Batum. Where's Marcus Morris? Marcus Morris is out again, so Batum is going to start and probably play around 30 minutes. I think he's a pretty solid value play. And then Terrence Mann probably gets decent minutes off the bench too, mid-20s. I think he's a fine contrarian value play. Hardenstein, really good point per minute guy, but probably only plays about 15 minutes. I think he's a fine large field tournament play. All right, Portland. So Lillard, 9.3K, continues to struggle with the shot. 6 of 11, 4 of 15, 6 of 22. Well, he shot 6 of 22 in a blowout and still put up 43 fantasy points. So, again, I'm fine going to Dame for tournaments. CJ McCollum, probably the safer option, playing much better and is cheaper. I think he's relatively safe play at that price point. Nurkic is 7K. In a close game, he probably plays around 30 minutes. I think he's a fair option. You guys know I love playing Nurkic. The price seems about right. Now, keep an eye on Norman Powell. If Norman Powell's out, Nasir Little becomes a viable value option. The only thing I will say, pretty low usage guy, right? He's not going to do much in the offensive end. So don't expect a big game from Little, but you probably get around 30 minutes if there is no Norman Powell. All right, and last game of the night, we have Cleveland and the LA Lakers. So this Cleveland team, I just don't understand this roster. But they're 3-2 this year. I'm really surprised. It's just guards and bigs, and they have 4 bigs out there at all times. The makeup of this roster makes no sense. But We'll start with Evan Mobley, 6.8K. I think he probably plays low to mid 30s minutes. Every game but the Denver game, he's played over 30 minutes. A guy that's a decent rebounder, can block some shots. I think he's a fair option at this price point. Price sub 7K. No issue going to Evan Mobley. The two guards in Garland, Sexton. Garland playing around 30 minutes, probably the safer option because he, is going to handle the ball more. Or Colin Sexton, more reliant on the scoring, so he's the guy more boomer bust. Jared Allen's been pretty boomer bust too. Like, look at these recent game logs: 43, then 18, then 32, then 45, then 17. So, not really sure what to make of that. This is a big front court, so he probably plays around 30 minutes. I'm fine going to Jared Allen. The production has been up and down, though. Rubio off the bench, I don't know if I can do it. He has played very, very well, but just a tournament play. Lauri Markkanen, I think, is a relatively safe option. He's playing around 30 minutes just because they're having three bigs out there at all times. So I'm fine paying that price point for Lauri. And then Kevin Love continues to play low to mid 20s minutes off the bench. But, again, price doesn't really stand out there. And finally, the Lakers. So LeBron James once again questionable. This is pretty big news. Anthony Davis probable. If LeBron James is out, I think Russell Westbrook looks really good. He's going to handle the ball a ton, probably going to close to triple-double. So would really like Russ. Anthony Davis will also be a solid option. Kind of get a little bit unlucky if you played 80 last slate. Only one steal. Like, normally is a guy that has a couple steals, a couple blocks. So I think Anthony Davis would be a solid play as well. Probably would lean to Westbrook because of the peripheral stats, but both guys would look pretty good. And the secondary options, it's just, even with LeBron out, Melo, fine tournament option. Malik Monk probably starts. I think he's a safer value play. 39, 32 minutes, last two games. That's pretty good for a guy only 4K. Bazemore finally had a decent shooting game, but I don't really trust that. Rondo at 3.5K is questionable. He's played 20 and 16 minutes the last couple of games. Keep an eye on that. Like, if LeBron's out, he probably plays similar minutes, 15 to 20. But yeah, guys, that's really it for the Lakers. I think that's going to do it for the video as well. So if you have been enjoying the content, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and make sure to check out the live stream tomorrow. I'll be traveling tomorrow, but I should be back in time to do YouTube and Patreon live stream. So good luck, guys, and I will see you tomorrow in the live stream.